sure I'll bite. Not untypical second generation immigrant story. Parents worked hard to get us to lower middle class. I worked hard to get into a top Ivy school. Took a job on Wall Street. Worked hard and am good at what I do. Never anything immoral like most of Reddit believes. Not in the ultra wealth club either, yet. Have had some 7-figure pay years though. Drive several exotic cars. Take very nice vacations and otherwise firmly in the 1%. But still well shy of the private jet, giant yacht ownership crowd, which really starts with 100 mil net worths. Also, still working hard for my money. And still working for a boss, though directly for a CEO. Next step would be to run and own my own business. That's where the real money's at. Even at my level. The true wealth of the world goes to the owners. Invested in my first flip as soon as I had enough for the down payment after college. Lived with my parents until I met my husband, who was a realtor. We began flipping properties together and now own over 4 million plus in real estate after 20 years. It wasn't easy, but we are lucky enough to live in a very hot real estate market. Although we pull in enough rental income to never have to work again. I love my job, so fortunately for our son it looks like he will be set up for life as long as the market doesn't crash. He's 7 and he already likes visiting houses with his dad, so it looks like we have bred another real estate freak. About 10 years ago, I had just graduated college with a theater degree. I had dreams of becoming a stage actor. Nothing big, but I was satisfied just doing local productions that would pay me something to live on. I was able to get a few gigs here and there, but nothing steady. Still, I was able to pay rent, buy cheap food, and go drinking every once in a while. Then, 2008 happened and any and all work available dried up completely. I worked retail for a while, but got laid off after a couple months. Eventually, I was flat broke and spent my last few dollars on some apples from the grocery store. This was during the summer, and there was a local farmer's market on Sundays. I had a crazy idea to sell these store-bought apples as some kind of small homegrown artisanal gardening apples. And surprisingly, people bought them for $3 an apple. The next few weeks, I bought even more apples and started selling them, gradually getting more money. And it wasn't long before I was making enough to actually barely scrape by. Then I won the lottery and put all of that apple sheet behind me. I was born privileged, which is not exactly being born rich, but pretty close. I showed up for a few things and learned how to write decent software, which one day I'd been doing longer and better than most other people. And that had economic value. I did work hard, sure. But I started out working hard on things that hard work pays you back for over time. And that was all a matter of luck. I invested all my pennies into stocks in March of 2009. I didn't have a lot of savings, but what I did more than tripled, and I've been playing the market ever since. I wouldn't say we were poor, but we definitely weren't rich when I was growing up. I remember the amount of fighting my parents had over finances. My parents worked hard and set up a shares portfolio for me, as well as a separate one for themselves. They instilled the same work ethic into me. So in addition to that portfolio, I've got a decent chunk of personal savings. I never turn down any hours offered at work. I'm never petty. I always put my hand up at opportunities. I try to be generous with everyone. Basically, it's about working hard and doing the best by yourself and others. I'm also pretty frugal. The first thing I do whenever I get paid is to put some aside in savings. I've personally avoided credit cards. Although if you can get them to work for you, great. Born into lower middle class. Wife and I are on a nice steady path of wealth accumulation. Ask me in 30 years how we did. I'll echo what a lot of people have said, which is to be frugal. Know where your money goes. And save as much as possible as early in life as possible. People who know how much we make just assume we're made of money. But if you are saving for retirement, saving for your children's eventual college expenses, paying off school loans, etc. Then discretionary spending is fairly limited, at least for us. I manage all of our finances and make sure our spending money is minimal. Also, I drive a 10-year-old vehicle in good repair and my wife's vehicle has been paid off for a while now. We are comfortable, but coming from the economic class I did, I feel like some sort of financial ruin or stress is always on the horizon. This is illogical given the last 17 years of being a legit adult and being fairly smart about money. I'd always had a feeling that I'd be rich, despite being raised poor. Just an internal feeling of fate that I'm meant to succeed, especially with my attitudes growing up. My dad instilled the hard work ethic in all of us and said if he ever won the lottery, he wouldn't even tell us. Things were looking great before I went to college. I had a well-paid job. I was getting paid for sporting ventures. Now I'm a few days away from being homeless because I'm £30 short on rent. But I guess in life, some of us need to fail. I've realized that now. Call it luck. Call it karma. It's just how the world works. This is a boring answer. We worked hard, put off holidays and threw all that money at a deposit for an investment home in our early 20s. Real estate is the quickest way to financial comfort.